My name is Brianna Voss. I'm 31 years old, and I didn't learn what betrayal sounded like through whispers or lipstick on a collar. I didn't learn it from a late-night text or a suspicious smile. I learned it over the hiss of running water, with my hands submerged in soap, while the man I loved stood behind me and said, like he was delivering a punchline at a party, "I should have stayed with Chloe. She knew how to treat a man." The kitchen light was too bright that night, almost aggressive. It exposed everything I'd been avoiding. Every smudge on the counter looked like evidence. Every unpaid bill taped to the fridge felt like a verdict already decided. The air smelled like lemon cleaner and something else, resentment, maybe, or the slow rot of a relationship that had been dying quietly for a while. I didn't turn around right away. Because sometimes, when someone says something that cruel, your body freezes before your mind can catch up. There's this strange pause, like your nervous system is flipping through its options: collapse, scream, cry, or fight, and can't decide which one will hurt less. Behind me, Derek Hayes, 29, my boyfriend of 4 years, kept talking. He was worked up in that breathless, righteous way people get when they've already decided they're the victim. His words came fast, overlapping each other, fueled by the kind of anger that feeds on being justified. We'd been arguing about money again. Not we can't afford food money, not survival money. This was real-world money, adult money, the kind that doesn't kill you immediately but suffocates you slowly. I'd suggested we skip his cousin's destination wedding, flights, hotel, outfits, gift. It all added up. Our AC had been broken for weeks. My car tires were balding. I was tired of sweating through the night and pretending discomfort was romantic, like struggle was somehow proof of love. I wasn't saying no forever. I was saying, let's not set ourselves on fire just to post a beach photo and smile for people who don't even know us. Apparently, that made me the enemy. You don't get it, Derek snapped behind me. Chloe would have never made me miss family events. She actually cared. She took care of her partner. His voice sharpened on the last word, like he was carving it into my back, like he wanted it to stick. I turned off the faucet. Slowly, deliberately. I dried my hands, not because I cared about the dishes, but because I needed something to do that didn't involve shaking. I pressed the towel into my palms until I could feel the fabric, until it reminded me I was still in my body. Then I turned around. He was pacing like a caged animal, hands flying, chest puffed out, eyes bright with that ugly confidence people get when they think they're winning, when they think they've landed a blow that can't be undone. He didn't notice the small black doorbell camera above the hallway entry. He forgot it had audio. He forgot it caught everything. God, he muttered, throwing his arms up. I should have married her. She's a real woman. Something in me went quiet. Not numb. Focused. Like a switch had flipped. I took one breath, then another, and when I spoke, my voice surprised even me, soft, smooth, almost kind. You're free to try. He stopped pacing, blinked, thrown off by how calm I sounded. What? You can still be with Chloe, I said. I won't stop you. Derek scoffed, like I'd said something ridiculous, like he'd expected tears, begging, apologies, like he thought I'd fight to prove I was worth staying for. Instead, I walked past him. I picked up my phone from the counter and opened the doorbell camera app. There it was. A crisp, unforgiving clip of him in our kitchen, ranting like a man possessed, saying Chloe's name like it was a prayer, saying I wasn't enough like it was fact. My thumb hovered for half a second. This was the moment where I could have chosen peace. But I was tired. Tired of swallowing disrespect. Tired of translating his cruelty into patience. Tired of carrying the emotional labor of pretending his words didn't cut. So I screenshotted the frame, his face twisted mid-sentence, and sent it to the one person he couldn't perform for. Chloe Randall, his ex-girlfriend. I hadn't spoken to her in years, but her number was still there, buried deep in my phone, saved under an old thread I'd never deleted, not because I planned to use it. Because some part of me always knew I might need it. My message was simple. Your ex says he wishes he'd stayed with you. Thought you should see this. Derek was still talking, still building his fantasy out loud. Chloe would have had a real life with me, he said, pacing, She wouldn't be pinching pennies like you. She'd understand what a man needs. My phone buzzed before he finished the sentence. Lol. Is this real? 2 seconds later. Brianna. I dumped him because he maxed out 3 of my credit cards and told my mom she was stingy. He was a financial black hole with a loud mouth. Another buzz. And the Tesla he keeps bragging about? That was my cousin's car for a week. Derek drove a 2014 Civic with a missing hubcap. Then the final line. Tell him I'm good, and I'm sorry you're dealing with that chaos. I stared at the screen. Not because I was shocked. Deep down, I wasn't. But seeing the truth written so plainly, by someone with nothing to gain, made it impossible to unsee. I walked back into the kitchen and held the phone out. Derek leaned in, already smiling, already ready to bask in the idea that Chloe would be flattered. Then his eyes moved. Line by line. Credit cards. The car. The lie. His mouth opened slightly, like the air had been stolen from his lungs. His face drained of color in seconds. No, he whispered, that's not, she's lying. But his hands were shaking. Because Chloe had said the one thing he couldn't spin. The fantasy wasn't real. It never had been. He snatched the phone, reread the message twice, then looked at me like I'd betrayed him, as if I'd created the truth instead of exposing it. You did this to humiliate me, he hissed. You humiliated yourself, I said quietly. I just stopped covering for it. His jaw clenched. Then he turned, stormed down the hallway, and slammed himself into the bathroom like he needed a locked door between him and reality. I heard the deadbolt click. Then something I didn't expect. Sobbing. Not soft crying. Violent, furious sobbing, like his pride was choking him from the inside. A few seconds later, I heard him dialing someone. She sent it, he said in broken pieces. She sent Chloe. She made me look crazy. 20 minutes passed. When he finally came out, his eyes were red and swollen. His face was tight with humiliation. He didn't apologize. He didn't explain. He just grabbed his keys, his wallet, and his jacket like he was escaping a burning building. At the door, he paused. For a second, I thought he might say something human. Instead, he muttered, "This isn't over." Then he walked out. That was 3 days ago. And that's when the real drama began. She didn't yell, she didn't cry, she didn't even sound angry. She just said, "I'll handle it." And she did. I didn't hear the phone call between her and Derek, but I didn't need to. I saw the aftermath written all over his face later that afternoon, rage layered over panic, confidence cracking at the edges. He burst into the apartment like someone kicking open a courtroom door. No greeting, no pause, just heat. "What did you tell your mother?" he demanded, voice sharp enough to cut. I was sitting at the dining table with my laptop open, a mug of cold coffee beside me. I didn't look up right away. I already knew this wasn't a conversation, it was an accusation. I told her the truth, I said. His laugh was short and humorless. "You turned her against me." She asked questions. I replied evenly. I answered them. That's when his hands started shaking. Not dramatic shaking, worse. The kind you can't control when your body knows something your mouth doesn't want to admit. "She threatened me," he snapped. "She said if I keep lying, she'll tell people about things I've done." I raised an eyebrow. Like what? The question hung in the air without being spoken. His mouth opened, then closed, opened again. Nothing came out. Because we both knew my mother didn't bluff, she didn't exaggerate, and she didn't confront unless she already had proof lined up like bullets. Derek started pacing, running his hands through his hair, breathing like he'd just sprinted upstairs. Then, like a switch flipping, he went cold. His favorite move. "You know what?" he said, forcing steadiness into his voice. "I want a clean break. I want to end this." I stayed quiet. "And I want half of everything." There it was. Half of everything. In my apartment, with my name on the deed, my savings, my furniture, my life, my peace. He said it like it was logical, like 4 years of dating entitled him to the foundation I'd built before him. I studied his face for a moment, really looked at it, the entitlement, the fear, the calculation behind his eyes. Then I nodded. Okay, I said. The word landed wrong for him. Okay, he repeated. That's it? Okay, I said again calmly. If you want to end it, we'll end it. You can talk to a lawyer about what you think you're owed. His expression twisted. You're not even going to fight for us? I closed my laptop, then reopened it deliberately, typed slowly. Let him watch. Family law attorney consultation. I'm fighting for myself, I said quietly. That's the difference. That's when his confidence fully cracked. He'd wanted tears, bargaining, fear. He wanted proof that I still needed him. Instead, I was clinical, detached, clear. So you're just giving up? He demanded. After everything? I finally looked up at him. Save a relationship where you screamed that you should have stayed with your ex, tried to access my savings, and lied to my mother? He flinched like I'd slapped him. Panic flickered again. He reached for his phone immediately. Dad, he said the second the call connected. She's just giving up. She's not even trying. Frank's voice was low on the other end, steady, exhausted. I couldn't hear every word, but I heard enough. You told her you wished you'd stayed with someone else. Why should she fight for you to keep treating her like trash? Derek's face went slack, not with shame, with fury. He hung up hard. Then he stared at me like I'd engineered the collapse of his entire life. This isn't over, he said quietly. And I believed him. Because Derek didn't retreat when he lost. He recruited, he reframed, he burned bridges and blamed the smoke. That's when I understood, the screenshot hadn't started the war, it had just exposed the battlefield. And Derek was already choosing sides. After that, he leaned hard into the victim role. Not privately, publicly. Instagram first. A black and white photo of him staring out a rain-streaked window, jaw clenched, hoodie pulled low, the kind of image meant to suggest pain without context. The caption read, "When the person you trusted most turns cruel, healing has to start somewhere, asking for support while I rebuild." Below it, his Venmo handle. I stared at it longer than I wanted to, not because it hurt, but because it was surreal watching someone monetize self-pity in real time. Comments poured in. Stay strong. You deserve better. Healing isn't linear. I didn't correct anything. I didn't defend myself. I was done arguing with fiction. Then the narrative cracked. Someone sent him $20. The note read, "For therapy. You need it, Chloe." I found out because Derek came home shaking, staring at his phone like it had personally betrayed him. "She did this to humiliate me," he said again. "You asked for money," I replied. "You put your name and face on it. That's not anonymous support. That's advertising." He blocked Chloe everywhere within minutes. Then came the spiral, pacing, muttering, opening and closing apps like speed could undo consequences. But the damage was already spreading. Because his stories weren't lining up anymore. 2 days later, I got a message on LinkedIn. From our. "Hi, Brianna. Derek has been making concerning claims at work. He's told coworkers you're financially controlling him and preventing him from leaving. He's also asked for loans, yet he showed up yesterday with a new designer backpack and shoes. The story isn't matching. I thought you should know." I exhaled slowly. Then I forwarded it to my lawyer. Because lies collapse under their own weight. And Derek was stacking them high.